Okay folks, it's the next day. We've got the uppers mostly installed. So these quick release fasteners are all finely tuned. So the gaps are as small as I can make them. Not too bad. And the top, I'm going to get a different bolt, mount those two so that the fiberglass is free floating. Might even put a rubber grommet in there so that it absorbs any vibration. The snorkel on the inside is all nicely trimmed up so it pushes in. It doesn't even have any bolt holding it at the moment. I'm going to see if I can just get away without having to use one. If not, I might actually put another pair of quick release fasteners in there, because having a little nut underneath there, all the way up there, is a royal pain to remove. I've already cut it myself quite a few times trying to get that mounted. Anyway, so the challenge we're facing now is this belly pan is for track only, and of course that means no kickstand. So there's this huge surface that on the stock piece is a big space for the exhaust and the kickstand. So I'm making a mask. This piece is the same as stock. You can see how much of it is cut away on the stock piece though. I'm going to peel off all this tape and I'm going to stick it on here, but not until after I have cut out this gap for the kickstand. So I will cut that out. Well, first I'll reinforce it, and then I'll reinforce this, cut it out, and then peel it off, stick it on here, and it'll show me exactly where to cut that kickstand clearance for here. That'll fit just like stock. And then I'll see what needs to be done to clear this, if anything. I may just need to cut out this hole here and make sure it clears enough so that it doesn't touch up against the fiberglass. And I will get some more of this heat tape. I've run out after doing Dawn's MV. I used the last of it on her bike. And then we should be good to go. So I'll make the clearance for the kickstand, then I'll mount these, then I'll do this clearance, and then of course do the three on the other side as well, and that might be enough. That might be complete. So then I will leave it on for a couple of track days, make sure it all works as expected. If so, then I'll peel it all off. I have already actually chamfered and rounded off all these edges so that there's nothing terribly sharp that can cut. Ah, yes, the other key thing to remember, where it's rubbing up against, when I take these plastic covers off, but for example under the tank piece here, I've put this foam, adhesive backed foam, so it doesn't rub on the tank. So this fiberglass is actually not touching the tank. Actually that's double-sided tape. But elsewhere, and especially on the backings of these quick release fasteners, there's a big piece of this there, so that doesn't press against the frame. So I'm going to put some more on here, actually that way of course, and anywhere else. Actually I might put some there as well, so that nothing is grinding up against metal. So this is only fiberglass. It's very abrasion resistant, so that means it can actually rub holes in things. So yeah, I'll put this on wherever the fiberglass touches the bike, any other components, and we're looking good so far. So actually yeah, I've mounted the tail, put these two bolts in. I'm still going to put two more here, and then yeah, there's another piece of foam insulating. that's actually pushing down on this because there's a hole with a tab. There's a pin coming up, cast into this subframe. There's a hole in the fiberglass, and so that it doesn't come off, that fiber is pushing it down on both sides. So that's nice and secure. Yeah, so we're looking good. Only about another day of work to go. So that's about, geez, I don't know, maybe 12 hours so far to get these properly mounted as securely as they can be. These spring backers are really difficult because for some of them, the spring is too far in. So you've got to push this little section up until the fastener locks in and can grip it. So it takes a bit of fiddling, but it's definitely worth it. This fairing, this whole upper and belly will come off in about 5 minutes. So that makes it very easy to pull the whole thing off, clean, adjust, do whatever you need to do. Oh, and I'm also mounting a power supply. I think I mentioned that in the last video. Power supply for the GoPro, which is going to get mounted right there. So yeah, for the front, upper, side, and belly, it takes about 5 minutes to remove it. The tail will take about the same because it'll have 4 little Allen wrenches needed, or 4 Allen screws to be removed. Will take about the same amount of time as it will to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 quick releases. Okay, more to come. Okay folks, it's been about 12 hours in total that we've spent on this project so far, and the uppers are looking pretty good. All the quick release fasteners are securely mounted and adjusted. Getting those little spring backers adjusted perfectly is quite a challenge. Some of them without the need for multiple washers on the actual twisted part. It's a matter of adjusting the distance that this little spring is bent to. So they're all done now. Anyway, next up is adjusting the lower panel, the belly pan, to clear this kickstand. It's too convenient to go without, so it's going to need some serious trimming, as you can see. So I've made this mask out of tape. I am probably going to cover that up just to make it more rigid, and then undo it or remove the reinforcement once it's on. And then I will mark through this section here with this silver pen, and then cut it out and keep adjusting until the kickstand clears. It's going to take a bit of adjusting, take a bit of fine tuning, and then I've removed the cover from the pipe, which you can see there. That's probably going to be swapped out for a slip-on at some point. I was planning on the full system, but good lord, $5.5 grand for an exhaust system that's just unreasonable. It may be genuine Akrapovic titanium, but it's just not worth that much. So slip-on for a lot less than half that is still crazy expensive, but worth it just for the sound. Anyway, so once that comes in, I'll need to do additional trimming to get this to clear it. But for now, yeah, I'll remove the mask, stick it on here, draw through the mask, trim, fit, adjust as necessary, repeat. So it's going to take a while. Anyway, that's an update. There will be more to come. Thanks for watching. Okay folks, little update. We are almost done. As you can see, the belly pan is on. I trimmed around the kickstand so it fits nicely now. I kept trying to trim around this little piece of the muffler, but no matter what I did, it just would not fit. The belly pan would not clear this section up here, so in the end I just trimmed it way back here, because in the end I'm going to need this for when the slip-on goes on anyway. So yeah, that works. So drilled holes. I had to put one bolt in there. I just have not yet been able to figure out a way to put a quick release fastener in there that doesn't permanently alter this bracket. So what I might do is, when I get some, if and or when I get some aftermarket foot pegs, this bracket bolts in to this foot peg bracket. So I might modify that when I get some aftermarket clip-ons, aftermarket pegs. So everything else works nicely. The panel gaps are really good. That one's a little big, but actually that little clip thing is moving there, so I can fix that. I'm going to rivet them in once I know that everything works properly. So we are good to go. Didn't need the little chain guard. Yeah, so looking pretty good. So let's see, on this side, tail's nice and secure. The fairing is pretty good. It's well molded. The shape is pretty good. The only big problem has been the key. The key doesn't match up at all with these bolts holding the key barrel. The hole molded into here doesn't match up at all, so I can't even put the key in there. But I have a key removal ignition button on order from Bobby at HSBK, so that should be here pretty soon. I'll have to look into how to mount that, so I won't worry too much about modifying this to fit the key. Let's see, I'm going to mount the mirrors. I'm going to have to actually drill a hole into this little bracket to get the mirrors to work, and I'm going to have to remove this rib nut. So I'm glad that they put that in there, because yeah, most people are going to not, or most people won't want to use mirrors. But because I'm teaching 90% of the time or more, yeah, I definitely use my mirrors a lot. Okay, that's about all. These quick release fasteners are absolutely terrible. I'm never going to buy those ones again. The way they're supposed to work is this little groove here is what affects how much of a turn it takes to latch on to the bracket behind. These things have been so poorly machined that these little grooves are just terrible, so sometimes they're very difficult to get on, and 50% of them are really, really difficult to get on. The other 50% are really, really difficult to get off. So once they latch in with a quarter turn, they are supposed to click, but these ones, half of them make it almost impossible to undo them. So they might wear in with constant use, but yeah, these grooves are nice and smooth. The grooves in these ones are really notchy, and they're full of poor machining or poor casting. So I'm probably going to replace them with some decent quality ones as soon as I get back onto Amazon. Anyway, other than that, it's been quite a effective installation. This little snorkel works well. Airflow sensor is installed. The horn I have to bolt back in, but it's not critical. I like having a horn just to attract people's attention when necessary, but it's not critical. But I will reinstall it, and got some oil to do an oil change now that I've got a dry clutch. But yeah, everything else is nice and secure. And of course the GoPro power supply. Oh, that's right, I'm going to see if I can put that GoPro mount up here right now. Yeah, I might put some foam padding under here so that this section cannot flex so much. very secure everywhere else except for where I want it to be the most secure, because that amount of vibration will destroy any GoPro videos that are taken. But if I put a big chunk of foam under there to hold it, it'll not only keep the fiberglass, well, which is already protected so it can't damage the tank, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, that's it. So it's ready to ride, which I'll be doing soon.